So this is Baruch Fleischman, and I apologize here that I'm really so illiterate that so many of the shiurim that I made on Rabbi Yaakov Kronenberg are not in my, whatever you call it, in the quick guide to finding my shiurim. But I apologize for that. Rabbi Yaakov Kronenberg is an American guy. He's been living in Israel for many, many years. When he was living in America, I guess maybe as a college student, I'm not sure. He's about tshuva. And he got interested in astrology, and he ran into, I don't know how we met him, he never told me, a real astrologer, a man from Hungary who was a real astrologer, knew a great deal about astrology and Torah from that angle, and he learned from that man, and he became a Jewish astrologer. And he made it his business he has lots of different shiurim that you can find on the internet. And he gives you an idea of his background. One thing he wants to tell us first, what's the difference between astrology, Jewish astrology, and the astrology that's mentioned, let's say in the Talmud, for example, of the Chaldean astrologers. And he went through all of that, and he tried to tell you, understand, we're not fixing the times. We're not making things happen. This is not magic. This is actually what he says, right? A cosmic science. This is actually a science, something that you can learn. But now, in the section that we're in right now, Rabbi Yaakov is teaching us some basic facts in Kabbalah that we need to understand in order to be able to go forward, be able to see this. So let me go through it here with you. Excuse me while I get myself lined up here. Now, he went through the concept of spheros, the 10 spheros, the permutations of the name of Hashem that was previous to that. Now we're coming over here. We're going to get back to that, of course. And now we're coming to a different part. Now that I've given these basic introductions about the spheros and the partsufim, let's try to better understand the permutations of God's name and their associations with the months. As what he's saying is, once again, the world is turning. We don't feel it, we don't know it, because it's a big world and we'll all dot on it. But it is constantly turning. Not only is it turning, but it's orbiting. Not only is it orbiting the sun, but the sun is moving through the constellations as well as the moon is. And all of this movement is in a circular pattern. And the rabbis called this world, I'm talking about the rabbis of what we call the secrets of God, are telling us that this is the world of wheels. Everything you see are cycles. And the cycle, or the secular concept, is a female concept. So you see that women have menstrual cycles. But all people have cycles. We're cycled from birth to the grave. That is a cycle. And being reborn, coming back into the world again. A lot of the Zohar feels this world's not such a nice place. That's a different story. So now that I've given these basic introductions, let's try to better understand the permutation of the name of the God's name and their association with the months. We are using material from the early Kabbalah. This Kabbalah is found in the writings of this rabbi called Rabbi Moshe Cordovero. That's the word Cordoba, if you know Spanish. You come from there. He is known as the Ramak. In his masterwork, which is the book called Pardes Rimonim, Orchard of Pomegranates. Now, the Ramak, let me see if I got this right here. So he says, the Ramak was an important Kabbalist in Shevat before the Uri. And in that book, he summarizes and synthesizes all the Kabbalah that was written and studied before his time. In fact, the Arizal based his studies and relied upon the writings of the Ramak to build his deeper insights. So when the Arizal taught the top rabbis of Shevat, he already knew the system of the Ramak, and he assumed that everyone else knew it as well, so he did not repeat it. So often we have to go back to the early Kabbalists to learn the basics, because the Uri didn't teach the foundation of Kabbalah, but rather its development into deeper worlds. The Vilna Gaon, people think, so I daven with the Ashkenaz, the Vilna Gaon is king of Halacha. The Vilna Gaon was a tremendous, tremendous Kabbalist. So the Vilna Gaon said that where philosophy ends, Rabbi Moshe Cordovero begins. And where Rabbi Moshe Cordovero ends, this is where the Ariya Kodesh begins. So let's go into this now. Remember that we are studying here astrology. Let's see how we can get this on the page a little bit better, maybe. It goes like this. The first month is Aries, which in Hebrew is the months of Nisan. And the word Nisan comes from the Hebrew word for miracle. That was the month of miracles when God took the children out of Israel, out of Egypt. Well, all those miracles and the wonders that are recorded in the Torah. And God said about the month of Nisan, this month is the first of all months for you. In other words, you count the 12 months, starting from Nisan. So the year is counted from Tishrei and from the months from Nisan. And God's name for the first month is read in a straight way. And that way is the straight name of God is Yud, K, Vav, K. So in its proper order, the way we write it. This is the way we see it. With the Yud is the first letter, followed by Hey, and then a Vav, and then the last Hey. When the 4 letters are in the proper order, the energy flow is one of complete unity, love, and mercy. And understand that this name, Yud K Vav K, is in fact the name of sweetness and mercy, love, and unity. And it is the secret of what we call the Karban LaHashem, an offering to God, where God is referred to as this name, Yud K Vav K, his attribute of unity, mercy, and love, as opposed to a different name. Now, we see these names if you're involved in Jewish prayer or you know Hebrew. This name, Elokim. Elokim, which is the name of God depicting an attribute of judgment, which judgment goes along with judgment when you're being judged. Nobody lives up to the judgments that are possible. It's pain and punishment. Also in Hebrew, the word karban, which means offering, refers to the karuv, the kiruv, that is coming near, which is in English means to bring things closer together. In other words, we're separated. This is the world, as we said before in previous shiurim, this is the world called Olam HaParut, the world of separations. Everything is different, but in reality, beneath all of the physicality and the differences is a world of unity. So the world is united, but beyond the flesh. When you make an offering to God, what's the idea of a sacrifice? Nobody understands sacrifice. You bring the upper worlds and the lower worlds together. And this unity is depicted in the form of 2 male letters and 2 female letters in the correct order. Now he's teaching us basic Kabbalah here. First the male and then the female. So the male is the letter Yud. And then the female is the letter He. So first starts with the male. The male is the giver, and the concept of male and female in Kabbalah is that the male concept is the concept of giver, just like a man gives a sperm to the woman. And the female, who's the recipient, and the desired recipient, is the letter He. And then the male, which is the Vav, and the final female, which is the He. We mentioned, therefore, that the parsuvim of Abba and Ima are a set of a male and female, which correspond to the Yud and the first He of the name of God, and Zer Anpin, our Nook, and the Nook are another set of male and female corresponding to the Vav and the last He of God's name. As is explained in many places in the Zohar. So this permutation of God's name, the simple one, Yud K Vav K, enables the flow of energy to come down in the best possible way, in the proper way, which is male to female. The female gives birth to another male, which gives to another female, and that is the process of male-female. This is the process of balance and perfection. So it comes in the proper way, according to the proper arrangement. The order of God's name is associated with Aries, and Aries is ideally the best ascendant. It is ideal for a man to have an Aries ascendant because it is associated with the normal, proper, and straight sequence of God's name. It is what God wanted as an ideal for Adam. All the other permutations and months are variations in this four-letter name in different sequences. And they do not have the ideal balance of energy, mercy, unity, and love, which is indicated by this normal name of God. There are many other hints and secrets about this first name, but that is for another time. And we'll go back it again because it looks like I'm just being called. That's it. Baruch Fleischman, Tikkun Elevator Kol El.